Good evening, everyone. We're coming on the air with breaking news. The crash of a major airline flight, the first we've seen in the United States in more than 15 years. Here's where things stand right now. The FAA has confirmed that an American Airlines regional jet carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. The aircraft crashing into the Potomac River. The flight was en route from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National Airport in Washington when the accident happened just after 9 p.m. Eastern Time. An Army official says preliminary indications are that there were 3 people on board the Black Hawk, the chopper that the jet collided with. Emergency officials say they are coordinating a search and rescue operation in the river. We do not know yet information about casualties.
Did you see that? 472. American 3130, go around, turn left end 250, climb maintain 3000.
Okay, left end 350, 3000, American 3130.
Lucy 5347, go around, climb maintain 3000, flight
3000, heading heading, go around 3000, Blue Streak 5347.
Blackjack 3, can you return to base? Blackjack 3, proceed directly to Glebe. I need you to land. I need you to land immediately. Can you go to Dulles for a few minutes? Muscle 7, proceed due westbound, contact Dulles Tower 120.1. Muscle 13, can you go to Baltimore?
And Kevin, we are just getting word from U.S. figure skating that in a statement from them that several members of the figure skating community are believed to have been on board that regional jet flying from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. There was the U.S. Figure Skating Championship wrapped up on the 26th in Wichita. We believe that there was a development camp following that may have just wrapped up, and it may have been figure skaters from that development camp who were on board that flight which collided with the helicopter. We've also heard from the Russian news agency TASS that a Russian figure skater and coach, who are apparently married, were also on board that flight. Joining us now, Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gaub, who is a former Army battalion commander and Black Hawk pilot. Lieutenant Colonel Gaub, thank you for being here. Tell me a little bit about, from your experience as a Black Hawk pilot. As I understand it, they have been on visual flight rules, Colonel. How does that impact the things that you see and do in a nighttime flight like that?
Yeah, Jonathan. Well, first of all, being in a helicopter like that, you're nearly always operating close to the ground, especially around D.C. within 200 feet or so of the ground. And as has already been mentioned, the potential for that having been deviated from to have climbed to a further higher altitude may be a significant point if proven to be a fact. Now, operating under visual flight rules versus instrument flight rules. The instruments, you're listening to an air traffic controller who is telling you what altitude to hold, what heading to hold, and really guiding you through the skies. And your life is in their hands, and you're operating under some procedures, but you're also operating under basically the ability to be directed on almost everything you do. Visually, that specific airfield, of course, and I've flown over it myself, you're operating off of mostly communications and procedures. Those are the two things that struck me the most when I saw at least the video that we've seen so far tonight. And there's much more we don't know, but they're restricted to a certain space, vertically, horizontally, altitudes, all these things, these corridors that are built. You have to stay within those, and they're built for a specific reason to create the separation. But because aviation is a human endeavor, and you're relying on the pilots of this aircraft to be able to be disciplined in their airmanship enough to adhere to those procedures. The ability to go from 200 feet to 350 feet, if for some reason you've stopped paying attention even for a few seconds, it is pretty easy to do. So that's one of the concerns I have. The second one would be the communications with air traffic control, be they radar or tower or both. What were they said? What were they told about the aircraft's location? Could they see it? And what did the fixed wing say as well? Was there something wrong in there? Don't know yet. That remains to be seen. But it's critical to note that this aircraft, the Black Hawk, the Lima model Black Hawk specifically, does not have your standard voice recorder black box that people are used to hearing about. You're going to have to rely on the external recordings of the tower air traffic control and the videos that you've seen taken from various cameras around DC to piece together some of that.
We're running out of time here. Let me ask you this quickly. Do we read anything into the fact that this was a training flight? Does that mean that you've got a brand new pilot in there? Does it mean that you've got an experienced pilot training new things, or could it mean absolutely anything?
It could mean anything. It could be an inexperience problem. It could be something that we're not even tracking. And I believe that's an answer that is going to have to come from the DoD investigation into the actual experience level and all the things that they would do to dig into the entire flight profile all the way back to the pre-launch procedures that are normally adhered to. So right now, I wouldn't read too much into that yet.
Okay. Colonel, we got to wrap it up there for this hour. Thank you so much for all your expertise.
Thanks for being here today. My name is Ron with American Airlines. Our CEO, Robert Eisen, is here to provide an update before he heads to Washington, D.C. For any family and friends looking for information on their loved ones, please call our helpline at 1-800-679-8215. Again, that's 1-800-679-8215. The media relations team will be available for any questions or clarifications, and we'll update and post updates on news.aa.com. Now I'll turn it over to Robert.
Thanks, Ron. Good evening. I'm Robert Eisen, the CEO of American Airlines, and I'm here at our campus in Fort Worth, Texas, getting ready to head to Washington, D.C. Very shortly. I want to express my sincere condolences about the accident that happened at DCA. It's devastating, and our hearts go out to everyone that's involved. It's an incredibly difficult day at American, and our efforts are focused on the needs of the families and the loved ones of our passengers and crew members, and we're so grateful for all the actions of the first responders. We're actively working with authorities on response efforts, and as well cooperating fully and engaged with the NTSB on its investigation. Flight 5342 was under the command of 4 crew members, had 60 passengers for a total of 64 people on board. And all we know about the incident right now is that Flight 5342 collided with a military aircraft on an otherwise normal approach into DCA, and we don't know why the military aircraft was in the area. We're deploying all of our resources right now in response to this accident. American's care team has been activated, and they're on their way to assist passengers and their families. And members of our GO team as well are headed to Washington right now, and as I mentioned, I'm on my way there as well. I know that there are many questions, and at this early stage, we just can't answer many of them, but we'll provide all the information we can as it becomes available. Thank you very much.
Can you just tell us what's next?
We're going to go work with the NTSB, but the most important thing right now is taking care of the families of our passengers and our crew members, and making sure we do all that we can to take care of those that are involved. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.